Welcome to Grip Grind Glory, where grapplers train with purpose and grow through the grind. And now, your host, thought-provoker, and fellow grinder, Anna Janovics.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Grip Grind Glory, the podcast. This is episode 24, and today I'm going to give you a roundup of 2025, tell you all about what happened to Grip Grind Glory this year and what didn't. Let's dive in. So I guess it's only fair to start right at the beginning to say that, a year ago or even, early this year, GGG wasn't a brand. It wasn't even an idea. It was just a discomfort in me, a question that wouldn't leave me alone. And if you've been listening for a while, you'll know this, that GGG didn't come from ambition, but rather from friction. And it wasn't meant to be a business. It started as a feeling that something was off. I was watching judo, living inside it, training and, going to competitions, just trying to understand the system. And I couldn't ignore the gap I found. Everyday adults in the sport, very few adults that are still in the sport, they didn't have a direction to train toward. People go to clubs, to their training clubs, judo clubs, they do the training, they go home, they go back a week later or, once more that week. And that's it. Most people who, train with just normal life, like working, family, all sorts of responsibilities, they don't compete. They might grade, but I just met so many people who are not interested in grading, let alone competing. And they're just supposed to, they're supposed to accept that this is just a hobby now. And I kept thinking, after all these conversations, that it can't be it. People are not leaving judo because they stop caring about it. They're leaving because there's nothing to grow into. There is no identity, no structure that respects real life. And so that's when Grip Grind Glory first showed up. And it wasn't as a name first or a brand, but as a lens. And that's that, hence the name Grip Grind Glory. Grip, choosing to take hold again or take hold in the first place. Grind, staying when it's uncomfortable, and glory, redefining what success or progress even means to you. And at first I thought maybe, it could be a podcast or, it may never become anything real, but let's just explore it, because it just didn't let me go. And so at the beginning, most of it was really messy. It sometimes still is. That's what business is all about. It's very slow, very uncertain. That's what it was at the beginning of this year. But GGG launched in, I believe it was in May. It wasn't with fireworks. It grew and still is growing in layers. A podcast, that no one ever listened to for a very long time, for months on end. I recorded the episodes, it was weekly, and I think there was always one single play. And then, there are words that feel risky to say out loud. Opinions are shared that don't even try to please governing bodies or algorithms. And there were weeks where I genuinely thought that it's not landing at all. Nobody cares. Nobody can relate. I'm just talking into the void. And who am I anyway to build this? But then something shifted, because people started recognizing themselves in the language. The exact people were looking for late starters, returners, parents training after work, people just quietly grafting away. And that's when GGG stopped being theoretical. In 2025, we also learned what GGG is and what it is certainly not. It's not here to replace judo clubs. Obviously, it's not a grading system in disguise. It's also not a motivational channel, and it's definitely not noise for the sake of visibility on social media. What became clear very early on was that culture matters more than hype. People want to belong, and therefore identity matters. I belong here, this is me. And direction matters as well, more than volume. I'm going there. I'm not just doing stuff over and over again. So we tested ideas, lots of ideas. We dropped ideas, some of them. We paused things that just weren't ready. And that is really very uncomfortable, because letting go can feel like failure when you're building in public. But then we also realized that it's not failure really, it's refinement. The kind of refinement we're talking about is, for example, that we had an idea. We wanted to launch a challenge, an online challenge for judo players only. And we tested it in-house just to see what our friends thought about it. And we thought it was great. We put a lot of work into it to give it a structure, how we deliver it, everything. And we tried it, and the outcome was actually really very good. But there were bits in it that just didn't work for people. So we had to repackage it completely. And that's what the experience launching in January grew out of. That was the initial idea, this challenge, online challenge. But then we changed so much, and we added to it loads, and that's what the experience is going to be starting in January. And this also leads me to, a personal note, just to talk a little bit about myself, because I founded Grip Grind Glory alongside my husband, but I'm pushing the business forward. He's just adding the experience, the knowledge. That's pretty much it. The experience, the knowledge, all the judo bits. But the business side is really run by me. This year tested my trust in myself to a level I couldn't have ever imagined. And quite honestly, it broke me on a weekly basis. And it's not something dramatic or cinematic, but it's, these small repetitive moments when I'd hit a wall and think, who do you think you are? What am I even doing? Why am I making this harder than it needs to be? Why can't I just be content with, where we are, with where this whole sport is? And this pattern became almost predictable. I'd spiral, I'd doubt everything, I'd feel behind, unqualified, tired, unable, and then clarity would come. And that's beautiful. Not because someone reassured me, never did, but because I sat with this discomfort long enough to hear what it was asking for. And so every single wobble, I feel like stripped something force away, something I was carrying. I just don't need it for the future. And every breakdown clarified what we're not doing, who I'm not trying to be, and what actually matters to people. I also realized that confusion wasn't a sign I was failing, but it was a sign I needed to refine, and then I was refining. And so that changed completely how I relate to discomfort today. And the other thing this whole venture changed in our family is that, so Grip Grind Glory as a brand, I feel like, it's end of the year. I'm quite positive now. It shaped us as a family, building this alongside Balázs by juggling life, kids, work, uncertainty, the club, forced conversations we just couldn't avoid. Hard ones, honest ones, and very uncomfortable ones as well. We had to get clearer about who carries what, where our strengths lie, what kind of life we're building, and not just what we're producing. And there were moments where this venture added pressure. But over time, something else also happened. We stopped pretending we needed to have it all figured out. We trusted each other's lanes more, and we became less reactive and more aligned. So the way I'm looking at it right now is that GGG quietly made us stronger, and not because it was easy, but because it demanded honesty and sitting with discomfort long enough. And that strength shows up. And so 2025 taught me loads. But the very first thing and the most important thing I feel my whole life's learning is that clarity comes after movement and not before. And I have to remind myself every single day that that's how it works. I always thought that I would have it all figured out, at a point. If I think about it long enough, I'll have the answers. But I won't, and I don't. So I just had to take action after action. That's what brings you confidence as well, I suppose. And makes you realize that you don't actually need permission to name, for example, what's missing. If it's missing for me, it is missing. But if it's missing for you as well, it's, missing even more, right? So this whole idea that you're sort of looking for permission to say something is just trash. And also, I have to recognize the progress we're making every single day, because building slowly is not the same as standing. And by this I mean, we only have a couple of handful of followers on Instagram. Another dozen or so people listen to the podcast. Another dozen or so people signed up to the experience starting in January. A dozen of merch has been sold, but these are amazing things. We only launched the apparel on the 1st of November. So that's like 5 weeks ago, maybe 6. We only started advertising the experience 2 weeks ago, and we already sold tickets. And, it's just amazing that, we hardly have any followers. Compared to big social media names, millions of people. But still, the people who we reach, they're interested and they're engaging with us. And that's just, I can't tell you how much that means to us. It's like we're building this community now for real. Also, people signing up from this same community to our mailing list, they want to hear about us. They want us to keep them in the loop. So, they can take action whenever they feel ready. That's just amazing. So going into 2026, GGG is no longer an idea looking for proof. It's a foundation. And we have a voice, we're building a culture with values, and a community that recognizes itself in whatever we say and do, or some of it, So 2026 isn't going to explode, but it's going to be about embodiment. We're going to deepen what we've already achieved. And 2025 was about gripping the idea. It was on GGG language, it was the grip phase. And 2026 is about grinding it into something solid. This is the grind. And the glory, well, it's not the finish line, is it? It's choosing to stay on this path. But we are choosing it every day, and we will be, because, it's not just us two anymore. We have all of you amazing people standing with us, and we're here to serve your needs, really, to make judo so much better than it is today. And we're very determined. We have loads of ideas coming, but for now, we're only focusing on the experience. It's going to be big, and it's only going to get bigger next year. And it's an amazing idea. We've had a lot of feedback by now. We're very excited to get started in January with all of you lot who have already subscribed or bought a ticket, however you could name it. If you haven't just yet, go to www.gripgrindglory.com/events and you'll find more information about the experience, and you can also sign up. You can sign up for one cycle only, which is going to be for now January to March. It's 2 months, 3 face-to-face events and online support in between the events. But more is available online about the whole thing, and there is another membership option, which is the yearly. We have a couple of people on yearly as well who want to do the whole year with us. So it's super exciting times for us here. We'll keep you all updated, and we'll just keep walking this path we started together with you guys. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you listening and, on our mailing list or, following us or whatever. It's been a blast, truly, with all its ups and downs, and we can't wait to see what next year will bring all of us. So we wish you a very Merry Christmas, a relaxing holiday season for all of you, and we'll see you in the new year. Thank you guys. Until then, grip, grind, glory. Bye.